Have you ever sat in church and wondered, this feels so good. It sounds so good. This information sounds so helpful. This music is so inspiring. And then Monday comes along, and in your real life, you're like, wait a second. I don't know what that stuff was on Sunday, but I don't know how to do it on Monday. And the rest of the week is coming. And what do you do with that? Let me tell you what I see happening. I experienced this in my own life, and I've seen it in the lives of many other people. So here we are. This is our life. It's on a sailboat. And we've got ourselves and our family on this boat. And it feels like we want to pursue God in the journey of our life. So we have this pursuit happening. But the winds and waves come. And when the winds and waves come, how do we follow God in the winds and the waves? It doesn't seem to make sense. What do I do then? Here's why I think there's a big disconnect for people between how you feel on Sunday and how you live on Monday. A sailboat has this thing underneath called the keel. If you look at it from the other direction, it's very narrow. This keel extends deep into the water, and no one sees it. You just can't. It's underwater. If you look at life, everyone looks at the same above the surface. One boat is more fancy than the other, but ultimately, we all kind of look the same above the surface. But this keel is really important. The keel does two things. It enables you to go in a direction. If you don't have the keel, you can't live your life in a purposeful direction. You're up to the winds and the waves. It doesn't even matter what these people on board might want. It doesn't even matter how bad you want it. Without the keel, you cannot go in a direction. The winds and the waves decide where you go. The second thing the keel does is it prevents capsizing. Without the keel, this boat is going to capsize when the winds and waves are strong enough, and the people on board are going to suffer the consequences of it. And it's not because they wanted to capsize. They may have actually had a really strong desire to pursue God's best for their life. So why have I capsized? How come I have tried so hard in my pursuit of God, yet I'm swimming with the sharks now, and so is my spouse, or my ex, or my kids? To me, what this keel represents the understanding of how to live out the principles of God. There's a big difference between the pursuit of God and the understanding of how to live out the ways of God. This keel represents understanding how to live it out. What people oftentimes instinctually do is, the more I do this, the better I am. Yet spirituality is, the more I do this, in the light of this, the more I do this, the more power I have. Without this, which means we don't have the keel of understanding, this is how we end up shipwrecked, confused. It's why our life seems to go nowhere. We seem to be just drifting. And we can try this. We can try more and more and more. I need to pray more, read the Bible more, fast more, try more. But it's our lack of understanding of how to live it out in our real life that causes the breakdown. And so this is why people can come to a point of real crisis when we try this with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, but we don't know how to do this in our regular relationships, with our regular occupation, and great frustration sets in. I totally understand that dilemma. If you want more help with that, you can follow this YouTube page. We get into some of that indirectly, but we also talk about that quite a bit on a podcast we have called the Purpose Mastermind Podcast. So if you want some more help on how to live out your life and not just pursue God, but how to live out the principles of God, I'd love to help you with that. So check out the Purpose Mastermind Podcast. I think it'll help you with that. Now go take on the day.